It was tasteless. Even the potatoes were cold and soggy.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at the worst dishes and most awkward moments on both Come Dine With Me and Couples Come Dine With Me.
This is my friend Fluffy.
Have you borrowed him for tonight?
No, he's my pet.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 20. Angela and Sam.
If I go to a restaurant, if there's a dirty plate there or something doesn't look right, then I simply will probably walk out.
Starting off with a couples edition, Angela was one of those people who claims they're telling it like it is, but actually, they're being painfully rude.
If anybody says that they find something in there, like a hair, they would be lying, and they would be dirty liars.
She was horrendous all week, nitpicking everyone and even, on one night, demanding the host clean a fresh glass for her because she'd spotted a fingerprint with her magnifying glass. She took a keen dislike to Sam specifically though, ribbing her at every opportunity.
I put a bit more lemon on there because she's quite bitter, isn't she, Sam?
Oh! Sam retaliated as anyone would, but Angela clearly started it.
So you bought the bread, yeah? That's fine, it's very nice bread, very nice bread.
We think so, we think it's
Yeah,
nice.
it's lovely bread.
By the end of the week, even her partner Dave of 17 years was saying he'd seen a new side to her since joining the competition. Somehow the rudeness paid off and they ended up winning.
So did you buy the sweet chilli sauce?
Yeah, we bought the chili
You
sauce.
bought it.
Number 19. Deep fried ice cream. It can be tricky to make ice cream from scratch, especially if you forget to whisk the yolks properly and accidentally turn your ice cream into scrambled eggs.
Is that getting lumpy?
No, shut up.
Man, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
Don't give me scrambled egg to my goddamn visitors.
Did they start again? No, of course not. This is Come Dine With Me, not Bake Off. They fixed the botched ice cream by simply pouring it through a sieve to remove the lumps and called it a day, wrapping it in pastry, jam, and deep frying it before serving.
There's the scrambled egg, look. What is that?
A mess.
Though they went to all that trouble, they were still called out for buying the pastry instead of making it themselves. Luckily, it went down a treat, but it was very nearly revolting.
You did make the ice cream yourself, did
I
you say?
did, without an ice cream maker.
Well done.
Number 18. Chocolate and avocado. Chocolate mousse is a difficult dish to turn vegan because it requires eggs to get that airy texture. To make it vegan, you need a different binding agent, and on this week's competition, she went with avocado.
Right, let's give this a go.
Is it nice?
That tastes of avocado.
That'll be the 4 avocados you put in it.
It's not that weird of a recipe, and avocados are often used, but it didn't go well. She used 4 entire avocados, which meant that the taste of avocado was overpowering.
That tastes of banana now.
Banana?
You might be surprised, but I've never made this before.
No.
Despite adding a massive amount of cocoa powder to get that chocolatey taste, not to mention maple syrup and almond milk, it still tasted of avocados covered in chocolate. Tasting in the kitchen, she thought it was horrendous, as did all the guests.
Do you think it tastes of banana, anyone? Because I do.
Yes,
A little bit,
I do,
yeah.
Did you use any bananas in your recipe?
No, none.
Number 17. Turkey mole poblano.
It's not usual to have chocolate in a main course. I have heard of Chilean chocolate though. That's a combination that's meant to go quite well.
How hard can it be to pull off a fantastic night with a Mexican menu? Well, harder than you think if you go out of your way to cook more obscure dishes that British lovers of Mexican food may not know.
To the fried bread, he adds chili powder, the sesame seeds, raisins and almonds, and mixes, sort of.
It's definitely looking interesting.
All the ingredients he added were in a traditional mole poblano recipe: onion, garlic, chocolate, banana, chili, but it didn't come together on the day. The heat was the main issue though, with Adam throwing in 8 chilies and adding plenty of chili powder too.
It's a little bit strange that I'm putting banana in with onion.
No one is forcing you to.
it's a little bit off the beaten track, isn't it?
The contestants couldn't get it down, let alone enjoy any of the other flavors he'd added. After all that, he microwaved a packet of pre-spiced rice for his guests.
I don't think it was enjoyable for anyone, but A for effort, right?
No chance.
Number 16, onion bhajis.
I didn't make the onion bhaji. I got one of my friends to drop them off for me.
Well done for being honest.
When it comes to Indian food, you don't necessarily think of the bhajis being the most troublesome. Not so for this contestant, who just couldn't be bothered to make the onion bhajis for his starter himself. He claimed that this was because he'd prepared his menu at short notice though, calling up one of his friends to drop some round.
What actually did you cook yourself for the starter?
I cooked myself the rosti and I cut the onions.
He did make the rosti, but apparently it tasted awful. They kept criticizing him for how he hadn't bothered to make the bhajis, which are relatively simple, but he didn't take this well.
I would have rather it was just all your own work, and I kind of would have appreciated that slightly more.
Well, I don't really, I mean, to be honest, I don't really care.
He went off on one about how he'd chosen bhajis because he wanted to eat bhajis, not because he wanted to make them.
Whether you guys like it or not, I wasn't really bothered. I thought I'm going to make myself a load of food that I want to eat and I want to enjoy. And if you like it, great, give me good points. If you don't like it, I don't really care if this is the food I eat.
Number 15, Heather Hosal.
I might not win this because I'm not popular, but I've put in so much effort with all my courses.
If you thought Angela was obnoxious, wait until you meet Heather, who remains one of the show's most infamous contestants. All week she was convinced that she was easily going to win and that nobody else had a chance against her.
Oh my God.
I don't believe this. I really don't.
But unfortunately, having the best menu is only part of how you win on Come Dine with me. If you're a rude so-and-so, people aren't going to give you high marks regardless.
No, seriously, I think you all have really obviously give me a low score. And I'm really sad about that.
Mostly, she was angry at fellow contestant Zara, even though Zara only came third and didn't win the money either. She ranted and raved and eventually left the room. She was persuaded to return and finish reading out the scores though.
I'm sorry, I'm so upset with all you. I've been so honest about you. I could have given you a 0 because yours were right?
Number 14, Zimbabwean NY.
It's normally made from pumpkins, but because they're out of season at the moment, we're going to be substituting that with sweet potatoes.
This couple were from Zimbabwe and wanted to expand the palates of the guests by making a traditional pudding, nobby, or pumpkin soup. It's a very thick, sweet treat, often with added peanut butter, but it turned out to be the wrong time of year. Instead of pumpkin, they substituted it for sweet potato, which was a terrible mistake.
Hope he likes mashed potato for pud with, squirty cream on top.
They covered it in squirty cream and took it out, and it went down like a lead balloon. Sweet potato just wasn't comparable to pumpkin, which we're sure would have been far nicer.
It's not for me. I've decided to share it.
If you're ever making nobby at home, definitely don't risk changing the pumpkins for anything else.
Starter was okay, the mains hit it off, the entertainment hit it off, the dessert didn't.
Number 13, sardines.
Who wants the big one? Go on.
No, thank you.
Do you not like prawn? I don't fancy a sardine.
Who'd say no to a big plate of seafood tagliatelle? Well, a lot of people probably, if the seafood components turned out not to be prawns or clams, but sardines. David grilled his sardines and plated them up for people to enjoy alongside their tapas, but a lot of them didn't even want to try the fish.
You're hiding something.
What do you mean?
I've tried sardine and it pained me to do so. I mean, really awful. You've hid yours.
Mark almost managed to get away with not eating his, hiding it underneath his pasta. Eventually, he was goaded into it, but this was a bad move.
Are you okay?
Oh!
There you are, darling.
No!
No, if you're going to, do it in there.
I'm all right.
That's very gracious of you, Karen.
It turned out that he didn't like sardines and couldn't even swallow it, nearly vomiting at the dinner table in a highly dramatic moment. This is what happens when you eat fish without deboning it.
I think the starter went down okay.
Really?
Apart from Mark almost vomiting with the sardines.
Number 12, raw chicken. If there's one thing you need to remember when you're cooking chicken, it's to make sure you don't serve it raw.
My chicken is a little bit pink.
I think that might still be alive.
Edith and Martin didn't get the memo though, plating up their prawn fried rice with a side of chicken without checking that it was cooked all the way through. It wasn't just a bit raw, it was very raw, practically still clucking, and definitely not safe to eat.
No, sorry guys, like, it was in there for ages.
Yours is actually red. Look, it's bleeding.
Anyone know a good vet?
Apparently, the prawns and rice, which were the main part of the dish, tasted good enough, but that hazardous chicken really puts a downer on the starter. I should get someone to check if their oven needs replacing ASAP.
It was a nightmare, to be honest. The chicken was undercooked, and I don't understand why. It was in the oven for ages.
Number 11, Peter and Jane.
I'm telling you what I think of you.
But you're good at telling people what you think of them, Jane. You're not good at hearing the truth.
Like Angela and Sam, these two were a match made in hell and spent the entire week needling each other. Watching the full episode though, and you'll start to realize that perhaps Peter's legendary outburst at the end didn't come completely out of nowhere.
If I was going to school myself, I'll definitely give myself somewhere between a 10 and a 10.
Though he wasn't the most popular, Jane spent the whole week insulting him, including telling him right away that he was arrogant and that she didn't like him.
The way that you've presented yourself, you have led us to believe that you are quite a sort of pompous human being.
After seeing all that, the biggest fail was probably that the others actually voted for Jane to win, when we don't think either of them deserved it.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Today, Peter Marsh lives in near total obscurity and rarely talks about his "come dine with me" tirade. Number 10, Tina's ingredients.
Little bit of sauce that I just popped in, but everything else was just all homemade.
It's as much about the food as it is about the host, which is why it was taken so badly when Tina revealed that almost all of her food was shop bought. Even the one thing she did try to make from scratch, the flatbreads, turned out worse than she would have liked, so she got some from a packet.
So you've added something to it?
No.
So it's just,
yeah,
it's
jasmine rice.
The ruse was uncovered when she was quizzed on exactly how she made everything and where she sourced the food from. Bizarrely, Tina defends herself by saying it was difficult to cook because she'd injured her foot.
From scratch today, made my own flatbreads.
Did you?
However, I just felt they were not up to scratch to serve you.
At least she made the pavlova herself, even if the curry was a failure. Number 9, Rob's Thai soup.
I'm pretty excited to see if my soup's flavours are infused and mellowed out a little bit, because it was a bit punchy earlier.
Competitive bodybuilder Rob decides to be ambitious and make Thai tom yum soup from scratch. Unfortunately, it's clear the recipe has taken a turn as soon as he opens the pot. The noodles have absorbed all of the actual soup, leaving a bowl of mushy pasta and chicken for them all to eat.
Janine, it's not like you to not voice your opinion straight away.
Rob can't even blag about it and say it's supposed to be that way because Janine has been to Thailand and recognises that this is a disaster. He gets some credit for trying something new and making it from scratch, but a cooking competition with the cash prize isn't the best place to experiment in the kitchen.
You like Thai food?
Yes, I do.
Have you actually ever eaten Thai food?
Yeah. Just never made it before.
Clearly not.
Number 8, cherry cola chicken wings.
Cooked in cola? You sure? You sure about this?
That's what it says.
Sophie and Lucas theme their menu on how looks can be deceiving, and they do this by serving up the weirdest dishes possible, in the hope they'll still taste great once the guests tuck in. Though nothing they serve is remotely normal, the cherry cola chicken wings take the cake. Sweet chicken definitely isn't a bad idea and can be done well, but using cherry cola?
I'm actually really pleased because I think these are the best chicken wings that I've ever done.
And she doesn't stop there. She adds hot sauce and maple syrup to the mix before she throws the chicken in. They also cook a roly-poly with cheese, custard and bacon. If the menu wasn't gross enough already.
By the time I've dished that up to people, that's gonna look nice.
How? Number 7, Natse's menu.
What seemed to be soup
and the middle was more like a fish pie.
While serving up too little food is a surefire way to lose some points, it's not often guests are given way too much. Natse decided to change all that on her night by serving up outrageously huge portions of exotic meat.
All I'm saying is, people need to eat what they are given tonight.
Or else. She starts with a thick fish soup with an entire shrimp on the side and an octopus on top, then moves to a Lion King themed main course. Simba didn't find his way onto the table, but rich cuts of kangaroo, zebra, and alpaca did. Maybe if she'd served just one type of meat, or smaller taster plates with the same variety, it would have gone down a little better.
I just couldn't eat it. I know she has a fetish for shoes, but I think we ate most of them this evening.
Number 6. Naked sushi.
Served in the authentic way.
Craig insists that serving up sushi rolls on the belly of an almost naked person is the traditional way it should be eaten, but it didn't go down well with the guests. Sushi is a bold dish to serve on the best of days, let alone if you abandon the plates in favour of a teenager brought in from the street.
Are you getting paid for this?
Hopefully.
Though they did eat some of the sushi rolls, the guests made no secret of how unpleasant the experience was in their talking heads. Even if you like sushi though, sweaty, hairy sushi rolls are enough to put you off for life.
I think that the man on the table with the body hair and the rice sticking in between the belly button, that's gonna put me off sushi for the rest of my life.
Number 5. Claire's Steaks.
For my main, it's gonna be steak. Just wondering how you'd like it all cooked.
Nothing goes right for Claire's main course. She decides to cook steak and asks the guests exactly how they like it. And just to be awkward, one of them decides they want theirs done blue. But even if everyone had wanted their steaks well done, it still wouldn't have gone well.
So the big one is rare.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
After cooking her steaks in the oven, she moves them into the microwave to finish. Even the chips don't come out right, as she partially cooks them in the oven, then shoves them into her wok to fry them up, using her dirty oven glove instead of an actual utensil. After that, the chips are still underdone.
It was tasteless. Even the potatoes were cold and soggy.
Number 4, irn-bru float.
Well, I'm afraid it's sinking, whatever it is.
Yeah, whoa, yeah, baby.
Ice cream floats are far more common in the US than the UK, though it's just one reason why this dessert goes so badly. In Glasgow, Brian and Victoria decide to put a Scottish twist on the dish by making it with irn-bru, the country's favourite soft drink.
Basically what we have here, guys, is homemade ice cream float.
Yes. It's not necessarily the irn-bru that leads to disaster, however. The ice cream is far from frozen and sinks to the bottom of the glasses. What's served is a sloshy orange mess none of the guests know what to do with.
I think the ice cream was a fail, I'm not going to lie, because it sunk, it didn't float. But
It dissolved. It didn't just sink, it dissolved.
Right, okay, Brian.
Unluckily for them, points aren't given for ambition. The entire night was a failure. Number 3, sausage trifle.
Don't you think that looks like a sausage now?
Nope, not in the slightest.
Annie loves sausages, and she wants everybody to know. She makes her sausages from scratch, which is definitely impressive, but she doesn't know when to stop. The guests are already sick of sausages by the main course, but there's one last surprise for them, sausage trifle.
Oh my god, this looks gorgeous.
I think you need your eyes tested.
That's right, it's a trifle with jelly, cream and custard, and then some fresh sausages in there for good measure. The guests and viewers can't cope with the sight of a sausage in a trifle.
It's got sausages in it!
To their credit, they do actually taste it, but there are some flavours that should never go together.
Don't eat all your mouth.
Number 2, snake poo.
Claire's inviting a special guest.
Pets at the dinner table is never a good idea, no matter how big a part of your family your animal is. This is especially true if your pet is an exotic animal many people are frightened of, like Claire's pet corn snake, Fluffy. Claire lets the family snake out to roam across the table.
This is my friend Fluffy.
Have you borrowed him for tonight?
No, he's my pet.
Even if nobody was scared of snakes though, they can carry salmonella. so it's not advised to let one around your food. To make matters worse though, the snake ends up doing his business right there on the table.
He did it last week, he only generally does it about once a month. I'm really sorry.
The chaos doesn't stop once Fluffy leaves, however. Claire also ends up dropping all the plates on the floor. Number 1, lowest score ever.
I'm not being rude, but I've got to peel spuds, do the creme brulees, do the starters, do the mains.
You've still got to do the creme brulees.
I've got loads to do. Listen, no pressure.
It's not entirely clear whether Lee knew he was taking part in a competition and needed to charm his guests to win, because he seems to go out of his way to host the worst night possible. He doesn't even start cooking until after the guests have already shown up, doing almost no prep during the day.
Personally, I think you're all
This means that all the food is served hours late, with the guests stuck in the living room having to make their own entertainment.
So tonight, Lee, I'm going to give you a 3, and I think I might have even been generous with that.
Maybe this could be forgiven if the food had actually been good, but it was awful. In the end, Lee walks home with a score of 7 out of 30, the lowest in the show's history.
Lee, you're lucky to even get a 1, let me tell you, boy.
Let us know in the comments if you know anyone who's been on Come Dine with me.
I dropped a bit on the floor, but don't worry, we don't want to waste it. We're going to get that back in there.
Beautiful. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.